What are you doing, sir?
I'm working on my entry for the Planetary Invention Exchange.
Yes, sir, I know you love pie. What I meant was, why are you doing your experiments here around the incredibly sensitive bridge equipment?
Oh, I remodeled the lab.
You did what? That's where we're meant to do research!
You can't do research on a bouncy castle, that'd just be silly.
You put a bouncy castle in the lab?
No, I took the lab out of my bouncy castle room.
You insulting excuse for a sentient creature. I am going to...
Attention, incoming message. Attention, incoming message.
On-screen computer.
King?
Professor Higginbottom, you're looking, two-dimensional today.
I told you never to bring up my condition. Now, I was just sitting here in my gold-encrusted beanbag chair, eating unnecessarily complicated nachos and thinking ill of the poor, when I realized you have not been providing me with my demand for entertainment that helps me feel superior to others.
Sir, I thought I told you I will not eject Nigerian orphans out of the airlock.
I mean my video essays. We agreed that you'd provide me with pretentious nonsense, and I wouldn't call the space authorities on you. Now get to it!
Winston,
Yes, sir.
load up the not-too-distant future.
Next Sunday, AD.
Or Netflix. I'm not picky. Greetings, fellow Voyagers. I am Captain R.L. King of the SS Artifice, and let's talk about Mystery Science Theater 3000.
In the not-too-distant future, next Sunday AD.
Cult favorite, precursor to about 37% of the internet, and perfecter of riffing. MST3K's cartoonish attachment to reality and unabashed love of snark personifies an unbelievably large amount of my generation, even though most of us hadn't even left diapers while it was airing. It isn't until now that the show is coming back with a whole new cast, new movies to riff, and a return to Freudian psychoanalytical parallels. Did I lose some of you there? I mean, I'm not really surprised. MST3K is many things, but it's not usually mentioned in the same breath as professional motherfucker Sigmund Freud. However, it does fall into one of the tropes he inadvertently created, the Freudian trio. While most of Freud's findings should be taken with a grain of salt the size of Crow's ego, his model of the human psyche of the id, ego, and superego have made the basis of interesting character dynamics for decades. It can be seen everywhere from The Lord of the Rings, to Adventure Time, Shaun of the Dead, even Star Wars. Hell, it's pretty much everywhere. But it's perhaps most famously indicated in Star Trek with Kirk, Spock, and Bones. My personal favorite, though, is MST3K's Joel, Tom Servo, and Crow T. Robot. Also Mike. And Jonah. Now, the reason it's my favorite example is partly because I'm a pretentious jerk who likes to feel smugly superior for noticing something most don't. But it's also because I feel like these three interact the most like a real id, ego, and superego would. Let's dive into that a little bit by breaking up the three parts to examine them.
It's called Oh, Kim Cattrall by Crow T. Robot. Sung by Crow T. Robot. It's marked Allegro con brio, Kershaw listing 643.
The id is probably the easiest of the three to understand. The id is impulsive.
Hey Mike, just making a deal with this devil.
Aggressive.
What about my underoos? You owe me one pair of underoos. I want my underoos.
Emotional. And sexual.
But the night belongs to Crow. Wow. My eyes can't help but turn at the sight of this magnificent little nothing.
It is often considered to be the most childlike of the three.
The word for today is booger. Yeah, that's right. Booger. Booger, 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 booger. Wow!
The id is the part of our brains Freud considers us to be born with. It thrives entirely on immediate gratification, like a baby demanding food without any shred of patience.
Mommy! Mommy!
In fact, the id is so juvenile, so rudimentary in thought that it holds no sense of good or evil, no moral compass. All the id knows is self-satisfaction, a kind of intense self-love that really borders on sociopathy. Who put this here? It was me. But with the id's intense obsession with the self, it frequently finds itself butting heads with...
Oh, that was weird. I was walking down a long hallway, and at the end of it there was a bright light, and a kind man with a beard reaching his hand out to me, beckoning me. And he looked at me as I got closer, and he said, "Hey, buddy, can you spare some change? I want a cup of coffee."
The superego is the processor for cultural regulations. Whereas the id operates in self-gratification, the superego seeks to appease the world. It strives for our personal sense of perfection. It's often framed as being the most critical.
Well, the bad thing was, the movie, it was ambitious, but it lacked vision.
As the more logical, less emotional side.
Come on, Joel. The cloak is grand, the workmanship is superb, but a neat caftan doesn't automatically qualify you as a devil's spin doctor.
As seeking to appease society's rules.
But why? What happens when OSHA stops by and sees everything completely unrailing, huh? Big fat fines, that's what.
In many ways, the superego is the romantic of the three, seeking deep approval from another person.
Could you find it in your heart to love a bot like me?
Moreover, it seeks acceptance of the world around it.
Enough! There's been too much Canada bashing for far too long.
The superego can be thought of in more pop culture-y terms as the angel on your shoulder. Or did you think it just a coincidence that Joel or Mike carry Tom in over their shoulder? Well, it is, but it's a very poetic coincidence that I shall exploit to make my point. However, this constant demand to appeal to society and the people around us, it frequently sparks fights with the id.
Oh boy, I'm sorry, that was my death ray. I had intended it to be for peaceful purposes only, but then you came along and...
Fights that can really only be settled by...
Well, when I was a kid, it was all the rage to wear a beanie copter from Bob Clampett's Beanie and Cecil show. Well, times have changed. I'm a man now, and I like things that are a lot more powerful and a lot more cool.
The ego's primary function is to find ways to satiate the big ol' baby id's demands without causing the superego to go into a wild panic that everyone's going to hate them. This is the part that allows actual function in the day-to-day. It's responsible for most conscious functions like rationalization.
Yeah, if these people are beatniks, then my mom's a beatnik and she's not.
Reality testing.
Bro, you're not I mean, how would you even have a baby?
Tolerance.
It's okay, now calm down. Now we mustn't hate.
At least so overtly.
And control.
Hey, you guys didn't take and go and start a cult, did you?
However, as it's the part taking in all of the information, it's also responsible for many defense mechanisms, like fantasy.
Sir, you should have told me you had a coupon before I gotta get the register keys. Be right back.
I didn't know you had...
Denial.
You're hurling medieval insults at me. Well, lay on, rat catcher.
Yeah, right. Come on, King.
And...
Bubbles! Oh my goodness!
Yeah, bubbles, yeah!
So many bubbles, yes!
Does playing with bubbles count as regression?
Oh, I don't know. Does putting a bouncy castle in the lab of your billion-dollar spaceship count?
You know, you could at least use it before you judge me for installing it.
Robotic sigh.
So there you have it, the Freudian trio of the id, ego, and superego as personified by the crew of the Satellite of Love. Now, it's probably not a bad idea to mention that Freud was often, how to put this? Wrong. He was often wrong in his conclusions regarding psychoanalysis. But this setup of three coexisting, codependent, yet conflicting concepts has made for great storytelling. Star Trek, through all 5 series set in its universe, have used this formula to create strong dynamics in their characters. You have 2 completely opposed foils and then their balance. There's something that feels real to it, something that feels familiar to all of our lives and our friendships. However, what I think MST3K got that no other show really can portray is that, on their own, these ideas are insane. Joel and Mike might be the most grounded of the set, but even they're prone to giving into the completely bonkers nature of Tom and Crow. After all, when your only role is to act as the great mediator between 2 equal and opposite forces, eventually you're just gonna wind up singing along with both of them.
Where, oh, werewolf, I've looked everywhere, wolf.
Oh god, this is how my brain works. I'm gonna be stuck in space doing video essays for Richie Rich's racist uncle for the rest of my life. This is what happens when you're weird on the internet. Winston, get me a space scotch. Winston? Winston?
Okay, I'll grant him this. This is pretty fun.
Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the first episode of The Voyages. If you liked it, be sure to hit that subscribe button to catch my future videos. In the not too distant future, I'll have episodes on Guardians of the Galaxy, Arrival, and David Bowie's Space Oddity. Until then, I shall see you among the stars. God, that was lame. I am so sorry.